So let me show you how you would use the resize files, and I'm going to show you the way that I do it. If you're working on a CM machine, this is the way that you will do this because it's the easiest way that I've worked out to do. If you find an easy way yourself, amazing, please share it. If you're working on an SDX machine, it's slightly different. So I'm going to show you, and you can do the same. You can do the CM resize on an SDX. You just can't do an SDX resize on a CM. So I'm going to show you a little bit of both at the beginning, and then I'll stick with the CM because then everybody can do it. So let's say, for example, you go into your retrieve data and your USB, and you go into your USB contents, and you go down to your octagon box. I'm just going to work on this one because that's what we've done so far. And we go into our resize files. Let's just bring on a net. So let's bring the box base net on and press OK. I'm going to align them on top of each other. So I'm going to show you the SDX way first. So multiple select everything that's on the mat, press OK, and I would still align them because you've got more space to expand, centrally vertically, centrally horizontally. Press OK twice, go back into Object Edit and group it. Now when you go to your resize file, there is a percentage option. So if you wanted to make that 20% bigger, you can go into your percentage and take it up to 120, and it will make it 20% bigger. Then you would cut those out, and then you would bring your lid net in, align it centrally vertically and centrally horizontally, group it together and increase that by 20. And that will work across all your files. So you can do it that way if that's what you want to do. If you find that easier and simpler to do it a bit at a time, brilliant. What I like to do is bring everything on the mat, group it, resize it, ungroup it, save it on a mat so that next time I come in, I don't have to even resize as a percentage. But whatever works for you is fine. You can do it that way, or you can do it the way that I'm going to show you next. So that's the SDX quick route way. I'm now going to show you the way that I personally would do it, because I'm not sure that I trust percentages like that, but that's just me needing to be in control. And it's only crafting that I like to be in control of. Please don't think that I'm a complete and utter control freak in every part of my life, because I'm really not. But this bit, I like to know that I'm bang on perfect. Right, so let's go back and I'll show you how I do it. Now there's quite a process to go through, but it will make sense at the end. And you only ever need to do it once per box. Okay, so it might take you 10 minutes to do it, 15 minutes to do it, half an hour to do it, but you only do it once and then you save it. So we're going to go into retrieve data, back into the USB, back into USB contents, and scroll down to the octagon box. And I'm going to do the pattern select box for this. So the resize files are exactly the same as the pattern select box files. What I've done is I've got the team to put the basic files in Builder box, the basic files in the resize box, and the basic files in the pattern select box. So you've got the files for the boxes, the resize files twice and the Builder box once, because I didn't want you to have to keep flipping back between each category. So they are duplicated, and that's why we go on air and say you've got 30 projects rather than 678 SVG files, because a perforation line is an SVG file. So it tells you exactly what you're getting. So I'm going to work on this one, and it's exactly the same as your resize. So in nets, you've got your box base net. Now, the reason that I'm doing this will become really clear when I've finished bringing all the files on. So bear with me, don't sit there thinking, why is she doing it that way? Bear with me, because it will make more sense at the end, okay? So the way I choose to do it is drag the base of the box down to the bottom, drag the reinforcement piece, because I need to make sure that that resize is at the same size, and then drag that down over the top. So I've got one side, one base and one strengthener. Then what I'm going to do is delete these off. Now, rather than going into edit and deleting one off at a time, I'm going to go into edit. You always make sure that you've got one of the pieces that you want to get rid of selected first, And then you go to edit and you multiple select part of the mat. You drag over the pieces that you want to save, and you don't need to drag right across like that. All you need to do is make sure that the bottom edge of those shapes is covered over with that grey, and then it can't see them as a shape, so it ignores them. So then when I press OK, it highlights all the rest of the sides, and I put those in the bin, and I press OK. Then we're going to add, so we're going to press OK, and we're going to add, from retrieve data, the USB contents, down to the octagon box, go into our pattern select box, back into the nets, and do the box lid net next. So I want to press OK, I want the lid, I want the reinforcer, and I want one of the sides. So then I highlight one that I don't want, I go to edit, I multiple select part of the mat, I drag over the shapes that I want to keep, I press OK, which highlights the ones that I don't want, I press OK again, and I put those in the bin. And now I've got my lid and my base of the box. So then we add the next lot. So we go to add and retrieve data and USB. We go into the USB contents and down to the octagon box. And this time we're going to pattern select box again. And now we're going to go back into the nets because we want the strengthening mats. So they've put those on in case you want to add them inside your box just to give it a little bit more rigidity. So we've made sure we've done that for you as well. So you've got your strengthening mats. So I'm going to press OK there. I'm going to move one of those down and get rid of the rest. So edit, multiple select, part of the mat, drag over the parts that we want to keep, press OK twice and put the ones that we don't need into the bin. So now we're going to add the decorative edges in. So we go to add, retrieve data, USB. Then we're going to the USB contents again, into your octagon box, into your pattern select box, into decorative edge. So you've got decorative edges for the top and the sides. So we're going to press OK, and we're going to use, pressed it twice there. Now I'm going to move one of these up and one down because I want to keep that one and I also want to keep that. And I'm going to click on one of those now and go to edit and multiple select part of the mat, drag over the files that I want to keep, press OK and put those in the bin. And it's repetitive. And you sit there and you think, oh, blimey, this is going to take me forever. Actually, I can probably do that lot in 5 minutes because I'm used to doing it. And the more you do something, the more it becomes second nature and the more you get used to it. But because I'm teaching you to do this, next time you come to do something else on your scan and cut, you might think, actually, I can use that way and it'll be faster. So it's teaching you all those little things that we do to get you used to using your scan and cut, so you start to think differently and you start to come up with ideas, which is just fabulous. So I'm going to press OK again and add, and we need to do the same again. So retrieve data, USB, into the USB contents, scroll down to the octagon box, back into the pattern select box, second lot of decorative edge now. Now with this one, because we had the lid in with the sides, all we need is one of these little side panels to go around the edge of the lid. So we drag that down and then we get rid of those by going edit, multiple select, part of the mat, drag over that, we press OK and we put those in the bin. Okay, and then this is where it starts to change slightly because we're going to add in those blank panels. So if you were doing this on your resize file rather than your pattern select files, you would then bring on your pattern panels and you would do exactly the same thing. Okay, but we're going to do the blank ones so that once I've done this and explained why I'm doing it, I can then take you into Canvas Workspace and show you how you select your patterns. Okay, so we're going to add and we're going to go to retrieve data and USB, and we're going to go into the USB contents, back down to the octagon box, back into the pattern select box, and we're going to choose our first pattern panel. Now there are 8 rectangle frames on here, but the way that the Scan and Cut sees it is a large rectangle with a smaller one on top. And I'll explain to you when we're going to canvas why I've done it that way, because then it will make sense and it makes it quicker and easier for you. All right, so these are ungrouped. So I'm going to take the inner rectangle and the outer rectangle of one of the sets, and I'm going to leave it over there for now. And then I'm going to highlight one that I don't want, because I'm going to get rid of all these 7, and I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to multiple select part of the mat. I'm then going to drag over this way because I want to keep that, and drag up there and just get rid of these pieces. So I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to put those in the bin. Now, because these are ungrouped, what I want to do is realign them and regroup them so that when they resize, they are resizing as a grouped shape, because that's what we're going to do when we take them into Canvas Workspace. So I'm going to select this. So I'm going to multiple select part of the mat. I'm going to drag over here and I'm going to press OK twice. I then go to my directional arrow buttons because I want to access my alignment function. And your alignment function is here. And I align them centrally vertically and centrally horizontally, so those 2 rectangles are directly in the middle of each other. I press OK twice, I go into Object Edit and I group it together, and that is my first panel that I'm going to put a pattern into. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the second pattern panel, so I'm going to press OK and Add and go to Retrieve Data, USB contents, down to the octagon box, into the pattern select box, into pattern panel blank, the second one, and this is what I have. So this is for the lid of the box. Now there's only one, because there's only one lid. So we're going to go to Edit, and we're going to multiple select part of the mat. We're going to drag over those shapes. We're going to press OK, and what we're going to do here is go to Object Edit and group it together. So now I can move that down. So now I have one of every part of the box that I need to resize. And when I've done this bit, it will all become clear why I didn't just do all of the layers, okay? So the next thing that I want to do with this is put those in a pile, in a smaller pile as I possibly can. So I press OK, and I multiple select everything that's on the mat this time. I press OK, I go back to my directional arrow buttons, and I go back to my alignment function, and I align them all centrally vertically and centrally horizontally, and that puts them in the smallest pile possible. Then I press OK twice, I go into Object Edit and I group it together. So now I have a grouped pile, all the parts that I need to be able to resize that octagon box up or down, okay? So let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's just take it up to 5 inches for now. So I've now got 5 inches, all right? I'm now going to press OK, and I'm going to ungroup it and tap the screen. Now, when I do that, and I know this because I made this mistake yesterday when we were filming this first time round, do not now ungroup anything else, because what you're ungrouping then is the frames to be able to take them into Canvas Workspace. So leave everything as it is right now. The next stage I'm going to do, you can only do if you do it this way. If you bring on 8 side panels, 8 lid panels, 8 parts of the strengtheners, 8 parts of the pattern, 8 parts of the decorative, and you try and put them on one mat, they're not going to fit. By bringing one on, we can resize everything. We can position it on one mat, which will be a 12 by 12. I'm going to talk you through that. You don't need to own one. Don't panic. You don't need to buy one. I'm just going to show you how you save it. And then you can duplicate them as you start to cut. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into my little spanner here, and I'm going to change my cut area to 12 by 24. Like I said, you don't need to own a mat to save shapes on a 12 by 24 inch mat. I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to press OK again and again, and I'm going to use this function, and this is what they call your arrangement function, and we've gone through this before, but I'm going to repeat it because there are new people that join the family all the time. The top option will rotate those shapes any which way it needs to get the most out of your cardstock. The middle one will rotate it up to 180 degrees, so it might turn some of the shapes upside down if it needs to. And the bottom one will keep them all in a straight line. So I'm going to select the bottom one for this, and it's now put all those shapes on a 12 by 24 inch mat for me. So you can see now I've got all my shapes in one place. So what I'm going to do now, and I would suggest you do this as well, because this is, otherwise you've got to do it every time, is save this. Now, if you save it, you can either save it into the cloud in Canvas, if that's what you want to do. You can save it into your machine's memory, or you can get a blank USB from the Create and Craft website, or a blank USB that is compatible with the Scan and Cut, and you can save it on there as your resize files. And then the builder box that you've got with your USB in, you could put that USB in and you know that all your resize files are on there. Unfortunately, we have to lock our USBs, and there's two reasons for that. One, it stops you deleting anything off the USB, and secondly, unfortunately, it's the way the world is that we have to lock them because we had people buying the USBs, copying them and selling them. I know, it's that minority spoiling it for the majority, but that's why we have to do it, just so that you know. So I'm going to save mine into the machine's memory for now. It's telling me it includes a group pattern, which is correct, because it includes the pattern frame, if you like, or the two shapes to put your pattern into in Canvas. So I'm all right with that. And I press OK. Just make sure that you ungroup the pile and tap the screen before you save it, because once you bring it back on, you can't ungroup it. Right, so I've now saved that file. So the way that I now work is I think, right, I'll have my box and my lid, and I'll do my box first, my box base first, my lid first, which is going to be the biggest one. So I'll keep that, and then I scroll down and I find the side piece, which is there for my lid, and then I do I think that's it for that. So I've got my side and my lid. Oh no, I need my strengthening part there. So I bring those on, and then I drag the rest of them down here. I need my decorative panel as well, nearly forgot that. And I need that decorative panel. And I need that decorative, no, that's for the side, sorry, bear with, let me start that again so that you know what I'm doing. So I would select my lid, the decorative panel for the lid, the small decorative panel for the sides of the lid, and bear with, there you go, the actual side piece itself. And then everything else I drag away, bearing in mind that I've saved this, so that bit's fine. And then I go Edit, Multiple Select, Part of the mat, I drag over there, I press OK, and I put all that lot in the bin because I've already saved it, so I don't need it. So now what I need is to go back to a 12 by 12 mat, unless you're working on a 12 by 24, which is fine, and press OK. And then I want 8 of those. And I also want 8 of those. These, 8 of those sides. So I then go into my number and ask it to do 8 of those. Now what I can do is use that arrangement function again to lay them out on my mat. But this time, because I'm just using a solid colour card, I can use the top option, which means it will rotate them any which way it needs to get the most out of your card. So now I know that that's everything I need for the lid of my box. I can then save that into the machine's memory, into the cloud, or onto a USB, and then I never need to do that again. Now you will get this message because we saved the big mat, the 12 by 24 inch mat with all the files on. It's now asking you whether you want to overwrite that one, which we don't, or whether you want to save it as a new pattern, and we want to save it as a new one. So now what you could do is send that into Canvas, bring it onto the screen, name it in the title, so it could be Octagon Box 7 resize file lid, send it down, and then when you recall that on the USB, you'll know exactly what it is. So that's what I would do, and then I would cut all that, and then I would go back to the original one on the 12 by 12, and I would do just what I've done there, but with the base of the box. And I would cut that out. And then what I would do is go, save that one, go back in, bring the 12 by 24 inch one on, and do the rest of the pieces like that. And it's a much easier way. If I'd done it, so just looking at the base itself, if I'd done the base of the box, the 8 sides, the 8 decorative panels and the 8 strengtheners, and I put them in a pile and I'd resize them. When I then try to put them on a 12 by 12 mat, it won't fit. So you've then got to drag each file away to find the file that you want, all 8 sides, all 8 decorative panels, all those, to get them out of the way, to then select the ones that you're going to cut. So I find this much quicker and much simpler than doing every file for every part of every box. I really hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let us know and we can do another little video to explain it a little bit better. But what I want to do now is take those panels, those blank panels, and show you how you use those in Canvas Workspace. But just before I do that, what I want to show you is where you find the pattern panels on the USB. Okay, so I'm going to press home and get rid of that, and we're going to go into retrieve data and into the USB, and in your USB contents you have your backing papers, your bonus embellishments, and then you have your bespoke patterns, and we've put them into 3 categories. So you've actually got 31. All right, so you've got 31 boxes and 31 patterns, but we're saying 30 because we've got a coffee cup holder and there's 2 versions of it. So we just thought, you know what, we might as well put it on anyway. So let's bring on a floral one. And let's just choose, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay? So when you click on one, it will give you the number. All these are photographed and in your booklet. So you don't need to open each one to find out what floral pattern 7 looks like. It's in your booklet, it's been photographed for you. So it's super simple. So this is your pattern panel, and we have it with an outside edge, and we have the detail grouped. So for example, if you wanted to now make that outside edge bigger, you can go into Object Edit, go to your resize, make it 7 inches instead of 8. You can then put those, realign them by multiple selecting everything on the mat, press OK, go to directional arrows and your alignment function, and align it centrally vertically, centrally horizontally, group it together, and that's your card front or a stencil. Or you can just use the inside detail to cut into a piece of card. All right, so we've kept them separate so that you've got options, even if you don't want to go into Canvas Workspace. But to use the blank pattern panels, you have to go into Canvas Workspace. It doesn't matter whether you have an SDX or whether you have a CM machine, you have to go through that process of going into Canvas Workspace. And I'm going to show you how you do that now. Okay, so give me a minute to get my laptop set up, and then we'll come back and we'll focus on that part.